Hi, and welcome to today's guest, Praddy. He's going to talk to us about how he got started in practice and what his practice does. So, first of all, thank you very much for joining us today, Praddy. That's fantastic. You could come on and talk to us. So,
thank you.
So how did you come to be in practice?
So that's a weird one, to be honest, because my background is banking, and then I was working for industry. I was working for a small firm, and I was quite nervous to take a risk to quit my work and start a practice or something. And that was a very small company, and my earnings were quite limited, and I didn't want to take a risk. Then I thought, okay, I need to have some sort of a side income, and in long term, I would like to go sort of independent or start my own business. So I started practice whilst working full time. I was pretty much pushed into it, where one of my friends come and say, "Can you do this for me?" And he basically said, "Do it." And I said, "I'll do it free." He said, "No, I'm going to pay for you. Can you just do it?" That's how I actually came into practice.
No, that sounds good. I think a lot of people, it's a good strategy to start by trying to run it along doing some other kind of work as well.
True.
Because when you first start out, you're not going to start with, it's not like just changing a job. You can't just turn on all the income. You've got to build it up over a period of time. So it's well worth running it alongside doing something else first.
True.
That's good advice there. So what do you do now in your practice, Praddy? What sort of things do you do?
So we do mostly general compliance, and we have few clients we do part of sort of FD work or interim FD work. And we also do some sort of outsourced operation for other accountancy practices or small companies. If they need a bookkeeper, we just provide that services. Or for other small accountants, if they need sort of outsourced services, we provide that as well. And also we deal with our own clients, mostly compliance, and we are slowly moving into more advisory.
Yeah. Okay, no, that's good. So can any accountant refer their outsourced work to you? So is that, how does it, what's the sort of process they would go through to pass it to you?
So we are sort of working in two different ways. There are some accountants, basically, they're happy to introduce ourselves or our company to their client and say, we are dealing with the advisory part, and this is our sort of a partner who's dealing with the back end or compliance part. Or some accountants say, we don't want to disclose your details. All they do is basically they provide us with their own email address and own platform and say, you communicate to your clients as our own staff. So, for example, if it is ABC Limited, we go as ABC Limited staff, and we communicate with their clients, and they wouldn't know actually it's being outsourced. So those are the two different models we work with. Mostly we're working with small accountancy firms. We are not working with huge firms with 40, 50 staff or anything. Most of the firms we work with, 2 to 3 staff they have in UK, or sort of one-man band. That's what we work with.
Well, that's good. And I think you said you outsourced it to Sri Lanka, did you say?
That's right. So we have set up an offshore office in Sri Lanka. So we have a small team there, and we recruit only people who are doing mainly SEMA. And there are a few ACCA people as well who's working in the team. So we take people who are very good in English, where they can communicate with clients in UK. And we have set up a phone line where clients can contact them, or they can call the clients. And also they are following a UK qualification, and they have enough knowledge, and they go through.
No, that's good. Yeah. So how did you go about setting that up in the first place? Because that sounds really difficult to find a base in a foreign country to use for outsourcing.
So I'm originally from Sri Lanka, so that helped. So what happened was, initially I tried a different outsourcing firm in UK. They were outsourcing in India. So I tried 1 or 2 clients. Unfortunately, it didn't work well. Then I realized giving to another company is going to be difficult, because they're not actually working the way we wanted to. So then I just thought, okay, let's try starting my own firm in Sri Lanka. So there was one guy who was a qualified accountant in Sri Lanka. He said, let's work together. So I just started the firm with him. He's a CIMA qualified person. So he managed to do the recruitment and all sorts of part. And finally, he wanted to move out of the country, so he left. So I managed to hire someone else, again, CIMA qualified with 10 years experience. So that person is running the whole organization. So I visit Sri Lanka a couple of times a year, and we do all the training, and we go through sort of a program with the staff. But generally, I think it was a challenge initially, but when the setup is done, and then it's pretty straightforward after that.
I think that sounds fantastic to set up that kind of thing. That sounds an amazing way of doing things.
Thank you.
Many people do look at outsourcing these days, particularly a lot of firms of accountants are doing that sort of thing. It's seen as quite an up-and-coming thing to do, I think.
No, exactly. I think it helped us. I think we followed. I think there are quite a lot of people promote this Michael Gerber's principle about having the right systems. So we started developing the systems, and it helped us hugely to get other people's work done.
No, that's good. And so, do you partner with other people as well? So, are you do you focus on using for the compliance stuff? Do you use things like Xero or other packages, or is it any package, or is it how do you do it?
No, definitely. So from last 3 years, we have fully moved into sort of a cloud-based practice. So we don't deal with paper. So we are mainly dealing with Receipt Bank. That's our main sort of partner for receipt scanning software. But few of our people we do outsourcing for, they use Auto Entry and Data Molino. So our team is proficient in that as well. And then we were using Xero pretty much for all our clients. But Xero pricing is not competitive with small clients. So we have to adapt QuickBooks as well, where they give a bulk license at a quite cheaper price. So we have a lot of clients on QuickBooks as well as Xero. That's our main software. And I think Free Agent is getting a little popular now because people get Free Agent free of charge if they have an Aptus or Metal account.
They do, yeah. No, that's very popular. Free Agent is very popular with those who use either NatWest, Royal Bank of Scotland, or now Ulster Bank as well. If any of those will get you, and Metal is obviously part of those as well. So
that's right. So those are the main software providers, and then we have sort of a partnership with, for example, Starling Bank and a few other sort of challenger banks we have some relationship with, and we work with them as well. And that's basically main software providers we're working with at the moment.
Yeah, no, that sounds a good way to go. I mean, it's good to use standardized software like that, cloud-based software, because that's clearly the future that we want people to use. The days of bags of receipts are running out, I think, particularly with.
I don't want to do that anymore. It helps with because we are in cloud. It doesn't make a difference where we do the work from.
I think that's something that everybody should come to terms with. That is about getting the best experts rather than getting somebody who's down the road. It's if you the whole world is your choice now. So you don't need somebody who's next door to do your accounts for you if you're cloud based.
Point. It's very true. Very true.
So I know you're on the Members in Practice panel as well. So, and you're the treasurer, aren't you? So I guess you've been pretty busy controlling all the finances ready for the conference that's coming up.
Getting there. The conference was a funny thing. Basically, when I started my practice, I was lacking a lot of confidence, to be honest. And I really don't want to expand because I thought I don't have enough knowledge to do the sort of accounting work or compliance work. So I was quite reluctant to promote my work or speak to people and say, I'm doing accounting. So I think probably you are one of the person actually pushed me to come to the conference. And it's back in 7-8 years back, I think I came to my first conference. And I was speaking to a few people, and I can't remember who it was. Then they asked, how's your practice going? I said, I'm a bit reluctant to get clients. I'm nervous. I don't have enough knowledge. Then that person asked, what sort of things you don't know anything about? Then I mentioned, I don't know how to do a complex capital gains calculation, or if it's a non-resident, I don't know how to do it. Then they asked, how many clients you get sort of that type of complex queries? I said, probably 1 in 10 or 1 in 20. And they said, why don't you speak to an expert and get that knowledge? And all other 19 or 10 clients, you can do it yourself. I said, yes. He said, go ahead and do it. And a lovely bunch of people, SEMA. I got lots of help from the SEMA sort of members, very friendly bunch. And I think from that conference onwards, I never missed a single conference. And then that's what actually forced me to join the panel and get involved and help other MIPS, because I built my practice based on the conference and the help I received from the MIPS. I had to admit that.
No, that's definitely good advice. There's loads of great things coming up at the conference, and we touched on Free Agent just now, and they're hopefully going to be one of the main sponsors for the conference as well. So good to it's a good bit of software. I mean, it's gaining a lot of ground these days. I think they've got quite a substantial number of users.
You can do now company accounts, statutory accounts on Free Agent.
Well, a lot of these packages now are getting that final accounts element added to them, aren't they? So Xero have just added theirs as well. They've added final accounts as well.
Correct. had sort of a one-to-one demo with QuickBooks sometimes back. So they are actually working in the back end. So I don't know when they're going to release it, but that's coming as well.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'd say, I don't. I mean, I use QuickBooks Zero, Sage, and Free Agent, but I like to keep my final accounts and things separate because I don't want to just be locked into a single package. I mean, I've never sort of gone down the single package approach. I've always sort of been a bit more open than that. Because if everything is on Zero, everything's on Sage and stuff like that, there are limitations. And also, if you have proper independent accounting software for doing tax returns, I use BTC. Then you can do a lot more with it. It caters for a lot more different situations that might come up.
It's so much nicer. I think you can have sort of a specific and more sort of a professional format, I would say.
Yeah. No, that's good. So with your outsourced stuff, do they do the whole thing? They actually prepare the final accounts, the corporation tax returns, self-assessments, and all that, everything.
They're completing everything. So what I do is when it's completed for my own clients, I have sort of a review when the final account is done. Then we just check the final points where we can do some tax savings. We can make any claims reliefs, etc. And that sort of thing. We do sort of final review. But pretty much from start to finish, everything is done by the team.
Yeah.
So I'm getting my weekends back.
No, that's good. That's good because most of us are pretty full on most of the time, really. So it's
yes.
If you can get some time back for yourself, that's a positive. That's well done. So in terms of new MIPs that want to start out, do you have some sort of top tips that you'd sort of think of for them? So what would be the key things that you think that they should think about?
So key things, I think they should have a bit of a self-confidence. They can do it. And if I can promise them.
Yeah, I think they, yeah. So I've met some people, not just accountants, who start businesses and they go, well, I don't really want to share my social media with anybody. That's private. And I go, well, you're going to find it very difficult to sell anything if people can't find you.
I can't believe people still think that way.
Yeah, basically, if you're in business, then basically everything's going to get shared, really. If you want to make it, you use every angle to be successful. So definitely the way. But yeah, I've on that social media front, I've also seen some people who mix things up a bit, and they get a little bit too personal on some of their profile stuff. And I think that's probably a bit of a mistake as well. When you start talking about what your kids are doing and all that kind of stuff, and maybe your holiday snaps, that's probably taking it a little bit too far. But it does get tricky to get the balance right.
Sure. Very true.
So if I was a new member, I was going to start up, and I thought, well, I think I'm quite good at advice, but I don't think I'm good at compliance. So what stage would they sign up with? Would they come talk to you before they got any clients, or as soon as they start getting them, or
so?
What's the kind of how would they do?
Mix, I think so. There are a few MIPs came to me and said, I'm just going to start my sort of own practice, but I would like to offer FD services. But the problem is it's a tough market because most of the accountants provide FD services as well. So if I'm just providing on FD services, I may not be able to get the client. So if I get the client sort of in full, would you be able to do the compliance part? Then I can do the FD part. So a few people, just before starting their practice, they have spoken to us and it worked well. There are a few people we met, they have already started the practice and they're working full time, or they're not confident enough to do the work. So then for them, basically we said, it's perfectly fine. We just started up and we are more than happy to go through. And a few people, we just give them a basic training as well. Just tell them, these are the basics you should know, because if you're going to meet a client, you know the basics. Yeah. And then when you have done the initial meeting, and for few new MIPs, I have joined with them in the client meeting. Basically, I go with sort of their partner and attend the client meeting, and then they probably learn from us what we talk and what questions we ask, and it definitely helped them, given they are local to us. So we've done that for a few MIPs as well.
I think that would definitely be an advantage for a new member. If you're going to a meeting with a client, you're not going to know everything about tax situations,
No.
stuff like that. And also the client's going to sort of say, so what experience have you got then? And you'll go, well, you're my first client.
You want to answer.
So, but if they've got a partner like yourselves alongside them, then it's very easy to go, it's okay, because my expert partner is here and they know all the things that we need to know.
True.
And it's all going to be good. And I'm going to do the bit that I'm good at. So it's all going to be good. So I can see that being a big positive, really. So that should be good. And as we say, obviously the growth of outsourcing is massive. It's a massive big thing at the moment. And compliance is the thing that is getting outsourced because it's becoming more, easier to do that with the systems and everything else.
Exactly, it's most automated, I think, because most of our clients, I think, the bookkeeping, they're using receipt bank, and most of the things are automated. I would say at least 50%. You don't really bookkeeping; it's all automated. So,
yeah, I think as well that MIPS really and accountants in general should really focus on the thing that they have the most skill in. So they should try and find a niche for themselves, something that they're good at, that will give them a competitive advantage. So, whereas too many people, I always think they'll do anything. What it doesn't matter what it is.
We started with doing everything, and that's pretty much you'll be making a loss on that because you can't be an expert on everything.
Yeah, so you're going to get it wrong. You're going to charge wrong. You're going to make mistakes, and it's going to be a bit of a mess, really. So focus on what you're good at and get other people to work with you on the things that you're not good at, and then you're pretty much covered. Or at least have some sort of support network of people that can work with you. And SEMA is really good for that because we all help each other, really. And
100%. I still get help from SEMA. I think we have sort of Ian Ross runs the MIP community, it's like a MIP net. Lots of people send questions, and most of the MIPs answer. I help a lot of people. Great community.
Yeah, no, it is good. As I was saying to him when I spoke to him yesterday, that SEMA, more than any other, I think, institute, its members are more prepared to help each other rather than stand in the corner and say, I'm good at everything, and I don't, we're all competitors, so I'm not going to do anything to help anybody else.
I had a bad experience with that when I started initially before meeting the MIP community. I used to post in accounting web, and people come back and say, oh, you shouldn't be starting a practice, you don't know anything, and they're just quite hard on you, and it's really put you down.
The
SEMA community was quite opposite, and they always encourage you and they help you and always say, you start on your own, we help you, we sort of handhold you on confident enough. So
no, that's excellent, good advice. Okay, well, I think that covers things for now, so I really appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
Great to talk to you as always, and let's hope that we can get lots of people to come along to our conference, which is coming up in October.
No, it's a great one. I think the conference, actually, the pricing wise, I think I have attended ATT conference or CIOT conference. It's quite expensive, and even other conferences, they're trying to charge an extra charge for the recordings. So I think for 2-day full-day conference for £99, I think is definitely an attend. Someone even covered from India last year to the conference. He came all the way from India to attend the conference and go back. So I think now it's virtual. I'm pretty sure I think a lot of people will attend, and
we should be providing the audience a lot and encourage everybody to come. That'd be fantastic.
100%.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks very much, and we're going to come to a conclusion there. So thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.